This is the White Coat Investor Podcast, Milestones to Millionaire, celebrating stories of success along the journey to financial freedom. Hello, and welcome back to the Milestones to Millionaire podcast. This is your host, Dr. Disha Spath. Today's episode is number 107. Cardiologist becomes a millionaire, and he does it in just 3.5 years. I can't wait to hear this story. But first, this episode is sponsored by MLG Capital. Step away from the volatility of the markets and put your money back to work with MLG Capital's series of private real estate investment funds. With over 35 years in the real estate industry, MLG Capital has the experience to provide investors with substantial returns and the track record to back it up, more than doubling every dollar invested through multiple investment cycles. Their series of private investment funds target an 11 to 15% rate of return net to investors through tax-efficient quarterly distributions. The fund structure prioritizes generous returns to investors first before MLG can share in any profits, demonstrating their culture of absolute integrity. Experience the peace of mind that comes with investing in diversified private real estate with MLG Capital. Learn more about investing by visiting www.mlgcapital.com/WCI. All right, we have a very exciting guest today who has chosen to remain anonymous. Hello and welcome.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm doing good.
All right, we are here to celebrate you becoming a millionaire today. How does that feel?
Feels good.
So tell us, what is your profession and how far are you out of school?
I'm a cardiologist and I'm 3.5 years out of my fellowship
Awesome. And what part of the country do you live in?
in Midwest.
Okay, all right. And so you're 3.5 years out of fellowship and you're making your attending income. Can you tell us a little bit about your total household income and a rough breakdown between the spouses?
So when I started my job, it was 460K, 400 from my end and 60K from my spouse's. Right now, I'm projected to make around 560, 500 from my end and 60K from my spouse.
Wonderful. And do you have any other sources of income?
No.
And what does your spouse do?
She's in training as well. She's in a fellowship, internal medicine subspecialty fellowship.
Wonderful. And do you guys have any kids?
We have a 2-year-old.
So what do you think your cost of living is annually?
10K per month, so 120K per year.
Okay. Wow, that's not bad at all. And you said you live in the Midwest?
Yes.
Okay. That sounds like it's doable in the Midwest. So what is your total net worth now? That's what we're here to celebrate.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my mint. There has been a lot of fluctuations in the stock market.
Right.
It's showing as $1,071,000.
Nice. Did it take a dip at all during the recent downturn?
Actually, the market has been going up a lot over the past 2 days. So
Yes.
it went up by several tens of thousands of dollars over the past few days.
That's amazing. Well, good timing.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Tell us what this money is allocated. How are you investing it, and where are you investing it?
So 630K is in various retirement accounts or 529s or HSAs, non-brokerage accounts. In my brokerage account, it's around 260K. And then on cash, I have around 60K, and home equity around 120K.
Okay. And how is your brokerage allocated?
So my allocation, I look at it as throughout all my brokerage and non-brokerage accounts. So I'm doing 66% either S&P 500 or total stock market index fund, and 33 or 1/3 in information technology index fund, Vanguard. So yeah, that's my asset allocation.
Okay.
Throughout all my
Wonderful.
accounts. I make sure there's a 66-33% distribution.
So you're basically all in stocks then?
Yeah, everything is in equity. Index funds, just these two index funds.
Okay, so you've got S&P 500 to give you total market exposure, and then more of a tech fund, but all are stocks, no bond allocation at all.
No bond allocation. Like I use the cash I get on through my paychecks, like as my cash portion. So right
Okay.
now I'm
All right.
holding 60K in cash, anticipating some taxes. Otherwise, I typically have like 10 to 20K in my bank accounts.
Amazing. So you like to take some risk, huh?
Yes, I don't have any debt, so I feel a little bit comfortable, and except for the mortgage.
Right, right. Okay.
And if I need money, I can always pull it from my brokerage. I sort of follow the money. Mr. Money Mustache.
Mr.
I
Money
mean, yeah,
Mustache.
Mr.
Yeah.
Money
Mr.
Mustache.
Money Mustache.
Yeah, he doesn't keep anything in cash, and he just puts everything in brokerage. And if he needs it, I mean, he just takes it from there. And I have been investing in my brokerage for the past 3 years, so I do have some allocations that are in the pods too. So if I need, I can just pull from them if I have an emergency. But thankfully, I didn't need to so far.
Yeah. And I know you said you had some money in retirement accounts as well, right?
Yes, most of
Okay.
it is
And
in my
you're
retirement accounts.
okay. All right. Got it. All right. And are you contributing to your retirement accounts pre-tax, post-tax?
Except for my Roth IRA, everything is pre-tax.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. And you said you had no debt. So did you have any kind of educational debt at all?
No, I did my medical school in India, so it's free for me. I
Yeah.
was able to get a free seat. So
Oh, nice. That's wonderful. And your spouse also doesn't have any debt.
no, she did her medical school in India as well.
Excellent. All right. So what was your net worth when you came out of training then?
It was negative 50K, mostly in credit card and car loans.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't know much about finances back then, so I got exposed to White Coat Investor podcast end of my fellowship, beginning of my attending year. And then I realized I need to make some changes. So first thing I did was I paid off the 50K in debt and then started contributing to the retirement accounts. And once they got maximized, then I put the extra money in the brokerage.
Awesome. Did you use the debt snowball or the avalanche technique?
I use the Dave Ramsey's method. I don't know what you call it. I think it's
That's the snowball.
That's the snowball. Yeah, uses the snowball. Yeah.
Nice.
Paid off the smallest debt first, so I get that momentum, psychological momentum, and paid off the rest later.
I see. And what was your smallest debt?
At that time, it was probably one of the credit cards, which might have been like around 5 to 10K. It's been 3.5 years, but my card debt has been
something like
around
that.
30K, I think.
Okay. So that probably works out on the avalanche side too. You went for the highest interest rate, incidentally as well.
Yeah, incidentally, it worked out that way too. Yes.
Yeah, we did the snowball as in my family too. We just really needed those like psychological hits, just to keep us going, and it was so motivating.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long did it take you to pay your debt off?
I think 2 or 3 months. Yeah, because I was getting that attending
Good.
paycheck.
All right. Yeah.
No, maybe 4 months. Yeah, around 4 months, I think.
Okay. Wonderful. That's great. Yeah, it must have felt really good to pay all that off and then start investing. What kind of car do you drive?
I drive a Toyota.
All right, we're going to remain anonymous, but way to go to stick with the WCI style of car. All right. Okay, so how did your parents help you? Are your parents really money savvy?
They were big savers, so I think I sort of got it from them.
Nice. And did you get any kind of help from them in your money situation at all?
Not much, except they send it like 10 to 20K every year to put it in my son's 529, but nothing too much, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So you're pretty much a self-made millionaire, you and your wife. Congratulations. It's a huge accomplishment. And you've done it in 3.5 years, right after fellowship. So how would you describe your secret? Like what is your secret to success? It's amazing progress that you're making.
I think I'm I was just lucky that I didn't have any medical school debts.
Sure.
Apart from becoming financially literate, I don't think I did anything else. I mean, I didn't know what a stock or a bond was towards the end of my fellowship, and then I just blindly followed whatever the White Coat Investor podcast, Jim Dolly teaches.
Well, you're humble, but I'm, starting with zero knowledge and attaining that financial education is quite a feat. So, congratulations. And, I think that in itself, to learn from zero to learning how to invest completely and becoming a millionaire in 3.5 years is something to be congratulated for sure.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So, what advice would you have to give to someone that's just like you before you started? What would you tell them?
I would say I'm just talking from my experience. If you're like me, just get financially literate and don't go for any sources, especially don't go with financial advisors who cold call you. Almost always, in my experience, they don't have your
Mm-hmm.
best interest in heart. And I would suggest following good online
Good point.
resources like White Coat Investor or Physician on Fire or Mr. Money Mustache. These resources help me a lot.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, what are your next financial goals?
Nothing really. Just wanted to keep doing what I'm doing right now and see where it takes me.
Keeping chugging, keeping on investing. Do you have auto investment set up, or do you do it manually?
For now, I'm doing it manually, but once my wife becomes an attending, I think we'll just do it automatic. And doing manually helped us a lot, especially over the past 3 years with two bear markets. I was able to do a lot of tax loss harvesting.
Nice.
But I think going forward, once my wife becomes an attending, we'll be doing it automatic.
Okay. Awesome. Do you plan to stay 100% stock?
I'm following JJ Collins' advice for now. So during my earning years, yes.
Okay.
And then once, if and when we get to the retirement stage, then we might do 10 to 25% bond allocation. Again, total bond market index fund.
Okay. Okay. All right. And your cost of living, going back to that, you said 10,000 a year. That's pretty reasonable for an attending. Uh, how does your budget break down? Do you track your budget at all?
So for home, which includes mortgage, is around $2,000, and other home expenses is $500. So 2,500 for home. Under financial, it's around $1,000. That is mostly both our disability and life insurance costs and my accountant cost. For charity and donations, we do $500 to $1,000 a month. Eating out around $1,000. Groceries around $1,000. Shopping 500 to 1,000. Auto expenses around 500. Travel 500. Everything else 1,000.
Okay. Wonderful. And so you're keeping your grocery budget around $1,000 a month. Do you guys cook at home? That's pretty reasonable.
Yes, we do cook at home a lot, and we shop at Sam's or Costco.
Nice. Awesome. So you bulk shop and cook at home. Any other tips to keep those costs low?
I don't know. This is how we have lived all our life while we are in the US. So I don't know if I'm doing anything different. So
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on to share your story with us. This was very illuminating. And it's really interesting how you have kept, your lifestyle at moderated your lifestyle clearly, and made so much progress in your investing in so early in your career. I'm sure there's nothing but, you know, opportunities to inflate in front of you. So I wish you luck, and I hope your net worth continues to grow and your family continues to grow and stay healthy. And thank you so much for being here.
thank you.
So what I love about that episode is that this doctor actually got himself in a little bit of financial trouble initially and then turned it around. He had taken on some credit card debt and had financed out a car. But as soon as he heard about the white coat investor and got into learning about finance, he decided to go ahead and pay off all his debt. And he did that in just 3 or 4 months. And then he decided to just start shoveling money into his investment account. And he's doing it at 100% stock allocation, which is pretty aggressive. And, it's in line with J.L. Collins's Simple Path to Wealth book, where he talks about, early in your career, you can afford 100% stock allocation. And clearly, this guy has the mindset to be able to do so, since he was relishing in the tax loss harvesting opportunity last year that he had. So it has worked for him. And he, at just 3.5 years later after graduating fellowship and turning his financial life around, he now is a millionaire. And, while he didn't have any student loan debt, which is fortunate, he didn't really start with much of an advantage other than that. And he taught himself how to invest and, apparently deep dove into the financial community and started following the white coat investor. And, the other thing was he didn't really think too hard about all the options. He just said, I'm just going to start investing in stocks. And that's what he did. And that's actually, pretty valuable sometimes, because sometimes when we have so many options that you're thinking about, okay, I could buy a short-term rental, I could buy a long-term rental, I could invest in a syndication, I could be investing in this or that. You tend to get caught up in analysis paralysis. And a lot of times your money just sits there and doesn't get invested at all. So instead of doing that, he's keeping things simple and just shoveling it into the brokerage and the retirement accounts. And clearly that's paying off for him. Another thing I loved about his story was that they're actually living pretty frugally for making $500,000 a year, and once his wife finishes fellowship, they're both probably going to be making more than $1 million a year total. But they're only spending $10,000 a month. To the average American family, that might seem like a lot, but for his income, he's saving a significant chunk of his income, and his savings rate's fabulous. So that is really something to be applauded, and he's clearly doing it through really mindful budgeting. He knew exactly what he was spending on what, and was tracking it on the Simplify app, which is awesome. And that really is one of the keys to wealth, is to know where your money is going. And so it sounds like he's doing a lot of things right, and sounds like there's going to be a lot of growth ahead for him and his wife. And while there'll be chances to inflate the lifestyle and all of that, I'm sure they're still going to be continuing to invest and keeping up a high savings rate. This episode is sponsored by MLG Capital. Step away from the volatility of the markets and put your money back to work with MLG Capital's series of private real estate investment funds. With over 35 years in the real estate industry, MLG Capital has the experience to provide investors with substantial returns and the track record to back it up, more than doubling every dollar invested through multiple investment cycles. Their series of private investment funds target an 11 to 15% rate of return net to investors through tax-efficient quarterly distributions. The fund structure prioritizes generous returns to investors first, before MLG can share in any profits, demonstrating their culture of absolute integrity. Experience the peace of mind that comes with investing in diversified private real estate with MLG Capital. Learn more about investing by visiting www.mlgcapital.com/WCI. I'm so glad this doctor took the time to come share his story with us today. I'm so glad you're here listening. I hope you found something valuable in this episode that you can take and apply to your own financial journey. What you do isn't easy, and if no one else has said thank you to you today, let me be the second after Dr. Dali. Thank you for everything that you do. Keep your head up, shoulders back. You've got this, and we can help at the White Coat Investor. See you next time. The hosts of the White Coat Investor podcast are not licensed accountants, attorneys, or financial advisors. This podcast is free entertainment and information only. It should not be considered professional or personalized financial advice. You should consult the appropriate professional for specific advice relating to your situation.